All right, let's come to this now. Music fans are in for a treat this Friday. I'm not joined by Clegg and Msaki. The two have released a song. It's titled Hoping for a Miracle, which features the voice of the late, great, legendary, oh how we miss him, Johnny Clegg. I'm so excited for this song. But before I tell you, of course, the entire story, they join me for a conversation on music, life, and everything else in between. Msaki, Jesse, thank you for your time. Good morning.
Morning. Morning.
This song, Hoping for a Miracle, I'm hoping for a miracle right now. How did you both catch this beautiful song? Because I know, Msaki, you're quoted as saying that you don't actually write your songs, you catch them. So how did you both collaborate on catching this beautiful song? Jesse?
So this is a project that I've been envisioning for a while now, and the idea was to try and reimagine and breathe new life into my father's music. And so Hoping for a Miracle is actually a collaboration between Johnny Clegg and Msaki. And I was sort of just in the middle facilitating and trying to find ways to reimagine these songs and breathe new life into them to be discovered by a new audience. So Hoping for a Miracle is a combination of 4 of my dad's songs. It's it's Scatterlings, Cool Crazy, Dela, and Great Heart. And I was just so happy and fortunate that Msaki jumped on board, and she was just such an amazing presence to bring to this project. And this was the end result, Hoping for a Miracle.
Oh man, Msaki, for you, what did it mean for you to actually be a part of this song?
A little bit unreal. I'm still processing it because I grew up around that music. My family loves, just like all of our families, but specifically for me as a storyteller, Johnny Clegg has made a mark in my trajectory as an artist. Yeah. And I didn't expect Jesse to also be such an incredible songwriter and artist. And so part of this has also been discovering, his music deeper and the way that he also works creatively. So it's been a bit of a double whammy for me here.
And I can imagine what it's like to be on a song with a legend such as Johnny Clegg. I mean, he's part of most of our lives, our childhoods. We've seen our parents, grandparents, uncles, aunties jamming to him. But for you, Jesse, the responsibility that you may perhaps feel you have to continue the legacy of your father, how does that responsibility come out in this song, and also in making sure that some of the music that he's either released or some of the voices we haven't heard from him before are actually heard from South Africans? Do you have that responsibility, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think when a family member passes, your natural instinct as a son or as a mother or a brother is that you want to remember them and celebrate their legacy and the things that they left behind. And in my dad's case, he had such a rich body of work and so beloved. And so I think what my duty is, that I feel a responsibility for, is to try and fly his flag, and to try and find ways to keep his music alive and exciting and reimagining it, but still with his incredible, unique, artistic integrity shining through. So, we never want to lose that. And I think that it's a combination of the reverence for what he was and also being able to, have our own creative resonance with it. So that was really the goal for this. And I'm really glad we did it, because it was very emotional for me. It was nerve-wracking.
I can imagine. I can imagine. And for you as well, Msaki, I mean, how was it? Because was it not intimidating being on a record with Johnny Clegg? I mean, for people who know his music, you could see the attention to detail, that he was a perfectionist, the sound, the melody, the harmony that all came in together. You could tell that if he were here, he would probably like, Msaki, we have one more take. Perhaps.
Something like that. I think, the intimidation was there at the beginning, but the process made it so welcoming. And what struck me is the timelessness of the songs, of the stories. He could have released music anytime, under any kind of genre, under any sort of musical base, and those stories will still cut through. And I'm struck by that. And kudos to Jesse and Denim that worked on the production, making it a space that didn't feel too overwhelming for me. I'm literally just here to serve the song. And I'm honored to be able to be part of it.
I'd like you just to build on that point that Msaki has just mentioned. I mean, there's something about Johnny's music which is timeless. And I mean, it's 2022, technology has taken over, TikTok is everywhere. There's a whole era of youngsters and the different kind of sound that they're listening to. Was it difficult at all to bridge the different generations, or was it easy for you?
Well, I think that the goal was to have something that felt contemporary and new, but still had that nostalgia. These songs, as you say, are timeless, And it is a testament to the quality of the songwriting that you can put it into any context. You can make it a house song, you can make it a rock song, you can do whatever you want with it. The songwriting, the storytelling, the sentiment behind it is just so powerful. And I think that's what made our jobs a lot easier, is that we had this rich music, and that there's nothing you can do. You know, my dad wrote in his identity is so deeply ingrained in those songs. He wrote his life. Yeah. You know, they're so personal to him as well. And so I think, you know, it was nerve-wracking to try and update that and try and make it feel like it can live on modern radio or on Spotify or on TikTok, something that has that same production quality and the same sort of modern feel, but still keep that lineage and that nostalgia and the legacy of what it was. So we try to have a foot in both worlds. Yeah,
well, we're going to have you guys performing it for us, and I'm looking forward definitely to hearing the song and having our viewers experience it right here on the SA Morning. But I'm like, I have to ask you, just in terms of your personal journey in music, how is it going so far? As well, being, you know, one of our most celebrated artists in the country, having a distinct voice and sound that relates to so many young people. How's that journey been like for you so far in art?
I'm having a bit of a watershed moment. I'm feeling really blessed that the success is allowing me to grow in my craft. I am completely not interested in the byproducts of that. I didn't sign up for all the other things that come with it. And I'm having to make decisions about time for my family. I'm having to make decisions about, you know, really checking out of the celebrity game. Right. It's really not a place where you can grow artistically. And so it's a balance between embracing the moment and letting the success take you there, but also to say, actually what brought me here is devotion to the art, and I have to try to keep the main thing. So that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, and I just want to add on to that, because there are probably young up-and-coming artists who want to only be known for their music. What's your discipline? How do you get it right in terms of separating what you don't need and what your focus is on, and keeping discipline to that journey?
It's difficult, and I thought I was immune to all of that, but it seems that it's just a daily juggle to see if you are still trying to, you know, wake up and answer the passion. Because the thing is, what still wakes me up at night is songwriting. What still moves me is wanting to write songs that are encouraging. What still makes me want to carry on past the things that are very distracting and extremely disheartening is the fact that I'm actually a vessel, you know. So if that's the thing that makes it all make sense, I would say to, you know, any young people, we are not we're not perfect, but but what I think is, if devotion has gotten you here, devotion should keep you here.
Absolutely. For you, Jesse, how's your journey been in music?
It's been great, man. You know, I think I agree with everything Msaki just said, and I you know, that's why I love Msaki, because she's got such integrity, and she's following the artistic journey more than anything. And I think that is the challenge for artists. You know, you know, you go through this career, and there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of things that can make you change your priorities, and really what we're here to do is to communicate. You know, we are here to make connections through music. You know, we're here to cut through the noise and cut through all the things that make us feel like we're different when actually we're all the same. And you know, as a songwriter, as someone who's been in the industry for a long time, you know, it's taken me time to learn how to keep those priorities and that hierarchy intact in myself. So I think for any young artists, you know, it's, as Msaki said, you know, your craft must come first. Your songwriting, you know, you're here to connect, and if you can do that through a song, the melody will find its audience. You know, it'll find the people. Just focus on making something true and integrous to you.
Yeah, and I wonder, just in terms of finding that audience, I mean, how are you both maneuvering through technology and the digital space with TikTok and, you know, Instagram? I know for some artists, they absolutely do not want to be on social media, but it seems like it's where you find your audience, the engagement in terms of, you know, TikTok, your music being there on digital platforms. Are you adapting to it? Or if you could have it your way, we still have VHA cassettes and tapes back in the day, rolling them with our pens. I mean, what would you prefer now, or how it was, you know, back in the day traditionally? Cheers.
Look, I think that the internet has been beneficial for young artists coming out. They have a way to access an audience. They have a way to get their music out there, which I think is which is a beautiful thing. You know, it's democratized music. On the other hand, it's created a situation where people expect more than music from artists. They want to know your personal life. They want to know, you know, the things that you're up to, that, you know, there's a whole other sort of medium through which that you now have to communicate. And I think for songwriters, you know, for me, I communicate through my music. You know, that's my prime goal.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's been something that I've had to adjust to and adapt to, and you know, I'm learning.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge. You know, you have to try and incorporate it into your life and into your career, and it is important.
I suppose there are pros and cons. And for you, Msaki?
For me, I love the fact that it's broken down barriers and there are not a lot of gatekeepers anymore for young talent. I think that's a beautiful thing. What I'm lamenting is the journey that they lose when you're building an audience and you're making sense to your hometown and you're growing legs to be a performer. And you see that, like, a person blows up because of one song on TikTok, and all of a sudden they have a concert and they don't have the stamina to finish 6 songs.
Right.
And they don't have the material, they don't have the life experience, they don't have the stories to back the explosion. So it's a beautiful thing to sort of expose talent that's already been groomed, that has like a real life existence in the world, but that doesn't just live on the internet. So I'm excited about where it can go, but I think it doesn't excuse people from doing the real groundwork.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm going to let you go in just a few minutes, but before I do, for any young artist hoping for a miracle right now, it's going to be listening to the song. Please don't laugh at me, Jesse. I had to do that. I just had to, and I learned from Gareth. I mean, everybody thinks I've adopted such bad habits from Gareth Edwards. What would your advice be to young artists up and coming right now in this very challenging, you know, time in trying to make it into music, trying to blow up, blowing up, and then not having the backing and stamina, as you mentioned, Msaki, of experience, but have something. They have a calling to music. What would your advice be?
Well, I think that South African music right now is going through a beautiful little renaissance moment. Like, I haven't seen so much exciting, you know, global focus on just what's happening in the South African music industry. I haven't seen that in a long time. So it's an exciting time to be a musician, but it's also a challenging time as a new artist trying to break through all the noise. And I think it's exactly what Msaki's saying. It's like, it's stamina, it's willpower. You know, it's like, it separates the boys from the men. You know, you can have a little explosion on the internet and have one song, but it's the artists that spend a decade honing their craft. You know, they learn their instrument. They can do show after show after show. You know, they want to be a part of this thing and they want to do it for the rest of their lives. You know, I think that music is a challenging career, and you really have to love it. You know, you really have to love it to get through all the things that you have to navigate, especially if you're a writer as well, because it's so personal to you. You know, if someone doesn't like your song or if something goes wrong, it is you. It's a reflection of your identity, you know, in your music. And so to find a way to remove yourself from that and just survive and have stamina, I think those are really good qualities, and I think it'll help young artists push through. And again, write great songs.
Yes,
you know, that's the...
Please, write great songs. But as we were talking, I kept thinking, Johnny Clegg, check. Johnny Clegg, check. Johnny Clegg, he had the formula, I think. That's why his music is so timeless. And for you, Msaki, I suppose speaking to identity as well, we're so integrated. I mean, the world is now a global village, and it can be easy to lose yourself and try and, you know, be how, you know, the others look like out in the West, out in Europe, out in Asia. So what would your advice then be to a young up-and-coming artist in terms of also identity?
That's your superpower. And it's, funnily enough, the West is looking here. We're writing for all these international projects because something interesting and something unique is happening here. Thank God for Amapiano kind of showing people that there's an entire underbelly of excellence that reaches all the way back to Johnny Clegg and, you know, Sakile and Stimela. So much beauty that has foundations in some of the music that is now a pop phenomenon. The roots of that is just an entire history of beautiful musical heritage in South Africa and in Africa. Yeah. So I think for me, just locate yourself, have a way to, in your own way, just say, this is my story, and locate yourself, whether it's geographically, whether it's historically, whether it's spiritually. If that's coming from a true place, it'll find a way to cut through. You know, so it really is about finding your own song. You cannot run away from your own story. Every song has a soul, and it will travel, and it will make you distinct. When you try and you look and you create from the outside in, that's when you're going to disappear. And that's when these songs will have a shelf life for a week. And so I also think that the audience is intelligent. People they can sense when something is made from the inside, and they can sense when an offering is from a place that is really unique.
Absolutely. Jesse made a good choice. I mean, I was just like, preach. You made a very good choice here working with Msaki. Thank you so much for inspiring us, because wow, we all needed to hear that. I'm looking forward to both your performance this morning right here on the South African Morning. Msaki and Johnny Clegg joining us, and we'll be performing Hoping for a Miracle. I'm so excited to hear from Msaki, to also hear Johnny Clegg's voice once again. The legendary musician Johnny Clegg also, of course, in this song.